Some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome to my review for Supergirl Season 5, Episode 13, titled It's a Super Life. This is the 100th episode of Supergirl, so it's that milestone episode that we've had for Arrow, we've had for Flash, and now we've had for Supergirl. Let's get into what I liked and what I disliked about this episode. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode, really fun going back to previous seasons of the series, seeing what would have happened if Kara told Lena she was Supergirl. But there is a negative I don't really like about this episode, and it's the fact that it's just a filler episode. It really doesn't progress the plot at all. Um, there is like one scene that that really changes anything. The whole premise of the episode was Kara and Mixie changing the timeline. In the end, they just kept the timeline the exact same way. They didn't even change anything. The only story progression in this episode came in one of the final scenes when I'll talk about that later actually. But yeah, that's the only thing I really disliked about this episode. But yeah, like I said, it's the 100th episode. Mixie showed up at the door of Kara's apartment last week, and he came in this episode, and he gave Kara a proposition. What if he was to bring her back in time to show her what events would play out if she told Lena that she was Supergirl? Because obviously Kara wants to be friends with Lena, but Lena still doesn't trust her. So yeah. So one thing I really liked about the going back in time thing is the amount of there was really not as much risk as there could have been, which I like in this case. Literally, Mixie just had to snap his fingers and transport Kara to that event, and then she could watch over the events that transpired afterwards. And if she didn't want that timeline, he could snap his fingers and erase it all, which is just super convenient, which I like in this case, and I'll talk about that later. Um, but the first time he goes back, well, let's talk about the new Mixie for a second, actually. I really like this new Mixie. Obviously, he's played by a different actor, and that's because Mixie can shapeshift, and I really like this new Mixie. Not like the way he looks or anything, but the way he acts, I don't know, he's a lot more likable of a character, and he's an ally this time around, and I just really like his character in this episode. And if you remember uh, from the first time he was on the show, to banish him to the fifth dimension, you had to say his name backwards, it's hard enough to say it forwards, but you had to say it backwards. And he even gave Kara a recording of it, and at the beginning she played it and sent him right away, which I thought was kind of funny. But you can just see how trustable he is in this episode. Last episode that he was in, he wasn't a villain, but he definitely wasn't acting on Kara's best interests. But this episode, he is doing this all for Kara, and he's a very trustable person in this episode, which I like. But let's get into it. After sending Alex and John to a paintball course, which I thought was funny, he starts to look back at the events of the Supergirl series, him and Kara, and they begin to choose events in which to go back to. Um, and they do this a few times throughout the episode in different ways. He has a streaming service very similar to the CW app called like Mixflex or something, sort of obviously a play on Netflix, but yeah, it was cool because it said like season 5, season 4, and it was just funny like that. And then also they had the VHS tapes and stuff, just different ways of going back in time and viewing the past seasons. I thought that was cool. But I believe the first time he goes back, um, I can't remember where they go back to, but it ends up in Kara dying of kryptonite poisoning. Um, they go back to a time when Lena and Kara are already established, like best friends basically, and Kara tells Lena, "I'm Supergirl," and then she's interrupted by some trouble going on outside, I can't remember what it was. And then she comes back in. Lena's gone. Apparently, she went to Metropolis to go to talk to Sam, which was cool to see Sam back. I'll talk about more of that later. But but then after that, uh, with the kryptonite stuff that happened in, I believe it was season two or yeah, it was two. The stuff with Cadmus, I believe. I haven't rewatched Supergirl since it aired live, since I'm not a huge fan of the earlier seasons. I might rewatch it this summer before season six comes along. But I believe it was season two with the Cadmus stuff when there was a bunch of kryptonite in the air, and Lena wasn't there to save Kara this time around because she was in Metropolis talking to Sam, so they couldn't use this timeline, obviously. And then the next one, she goes to consult Mon-El. So they go back to season three to Sam's mom's house. Um, I vaguely remember this episode a little bit. And Mon-El gives her some advice. It was kind of cool to see Mon-El back. I'm not a huge fan of Mon-El's character. I like, I kind of like their relationship together. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of Mon-El. But it was cool to see him back, and it was really strange seeing him talk these words of wisdom, since he's never been a wise character. He's always been a dummy, I guess. I'll call him that. But yeah, after that, Rain shows up, and then Lena, who who trusts Kara this time around, actually actually stops Rain and saves Sam. But then Rain comes back. She heat visions. She kills Lena, and then Mon-El goes up and tries to stop Rain, and uses the I can't remember the device. I don't remember if they've obviously used it in season three. Remember, I don't remember much of this show, since I've only seen it when it was live, and I never really paid much attention to it. I've never been a huge Supergirl fan. Um, but yeah, he uses this device from a previous season. She uses her heat vision on him. They kill each other. So Lena, Sam, and Mon-El are all dead. So yeah, that sucks. And that timeline can't be used now. But then the third time they go around, Kara reveals to Lena that she's Supergirl right when Lena moves to National City, and and they become partners, and all is going well until Ben Lockwood shows up in most likely the season four era of Supergirl. This time period, he shows up. He asks Lena to tell him who Supergirl is because apparently his family jumped off a building to test if she'd save them, and she didn't. So obviously he wants revenge. He takes her, and that one guy who worships like Rao and stuff. He takes both of them. His name is Thomas Coville. He takes them hostage, and Kara saves them after she reveals. Basically, the deal that Ben had with her is if she reveals to the world who she is, he will give her the location of Coville and Lena. So she does so. It was cool to see that Kara, obviously, she didn't know that this timeline was going to go bad, and there was the possibility that she was going to stick with this timeline. She was willing to reveal herself to the world to save Lena, um, which obviously shows the strong connection they have. But she does so. Ben gives her the location. She saves all of them, and then the Children of Liberty, they start to kill all of Supergirl's loved ones. They kill Cat Grant even. They kill Wynn. They kill John. They obviously like kill Alex and stuff. And and yeah, that timeline is it's she can't use that one anymore. So so they go into another timeline where well, Mixie comes up with the idea maybe things would just go good if she never even became friends with Lena in the first place. So they try that out, and Mixie's power stopped working. This is pretty interesting. At first, during the episode, when it was revealed that Mixie could just snap Kara out of any unwanted timelines, I didn't really like how there was no risk. Once this happened, as a source of conflict, I thought it was all well and good. I thought this was a cool timeline where everything was dark. Lena was a villain. Uh, she was only trying to protect the city, but she was doing it in very extreme means. And then we had Dreamer, who saved them from a Hope Bot, is what it's called. It was a Lexo suit, but it was called a Hope Bot. And and then she brings Mixie and Kara to meet with Alex, Jean, Wynn, Monel, and Kelly in the tower, I believe it was. And yeah, Monel stayed behind in this reality, and apparently Lena is this dark because Lex tried to assassinate her, tried to blow up her helicopter, and and then Lillian Luther saved Lena. She did some experiments on her, and then she came back, and she killed him at the cost of half of National City, and then she controlled the what was left of it. And the reason Mixie can't use the fifth dimensional energy is because Lena, um, or who did I say before? I meant Mixie. The reason he can't use that energy, maybe I did say Mixie, I don't know. But the reason he can't use the energy is because Lena is using the fifth dimensional energy to harness power for her Hope bots, and so yeah, that's why he couldn't snap them out of there. But then Rain and Brainy, who are working for Lena in this timeline, they arrive in the tower and they fight everybody. And I just want to say there was this one shot where Rain shot her like energy or her heat vision at them, and Dreamer brought up this cool dream shield. I really love the look of that scene for some reason. The energy and just the CGI in general looked really good for some reason. I don't know why. I just really like the colors, and it just the way it shined light on all the characters. It just they fitted into the scene really well, and I thought the CGI there was really good. Um, it's I know it's just a normal uneventful shot really, but I thought it looked really good. I just want to say that. But yeah, there's a huge fight there. Kara actually goes to Catco, which is controlled by Lena. It's L Corp, and there's these red lights everywhere. She meets up with Lena, and Lena reveals her backstory, how Alex tried to assassinate her, her mom saved her and did experiments on her, and then she revealed that Kryptonian heart. She's like a metallo basically in this timeline, and she shoots kryptonite at Kara, and yeah. But there's this hat that Wind talked about. I don't know if this was in an old season of Supergirl, but I can't remember. But they it's basically this hat where it's powered by fifth dimensional energy, I think, and he what's his name? Mixie can like reach in and grab whatever he wants, and he grabs this fifth dimensional energy and snaps them out of the what's it called? The timeline basically. And then now that they're in their old timeline, they just realize that every time they try to change something, it ends up being worse. So Kara just accepts the fact that this timeline went the way it did. She goes and visits Lena, and she tells Lena that Lena is now accountable for her own actions. And if Lena and Lex, if they do what they're planning on doing, nothing will stop Kara from doing what she needs to be done to stop Lena. This kind of felt out of character for Kara, since she's always forgiving about Lena. But I get why they had to do this. They eventually had to get to a point where Kara just was done was done trusting and believing in Lena, and then but I don't really like the way they did it. I kind of wish Lena would have done something bad, and then Kara would have realized that Lena is so far gone, that she's so committed to working with Lex that she's willing to do these things, and that's why Kara shouldn't be trusting her and believing in her anymore. I just don't really like the way they went about about this event, basically. But that's really the only story progression we got in this episode, was Kara not trusting and not believing in Lena anymore. and telling her she's willing to do what needs to be done to stop her. And yeah, the episode ends with Kara, Alex, and Jean. They're eating food in the apartment, and Mixie, his little energy beam, he watches on from the outside basically, and it's cool. The whole team trusts him now, really. And Alex was saying, uh, it'd be cool if they had Mixie around more. He, made them a bunch of magical food and stuff, which I thought was cool. And he's just a really cool character in this episode, and I'm hoping we get to see more of him. Very scarcely though in the series, because he can alter reality. That is a very easy plot device. Um, I can't remember the last time. I think it was season two. Um, yeah, it was sometime in season two when Mixie was in the first time, because that's when Monel and Kara were together in season two. So every few seasons, I don't want him showing up two times. I don't even want him showing up two times a season. I don't even want him showing up once a season. He's that powerful, and I just really want him to be used as a scarce character, considering his abilities are very easy to, get the job done every time he's around. So I want them to use him wisely, and it seems like they will. They haven't used him for 3 seasons, and I understand why they used him in this episode, because it is the 100th episode, and they wanted to somehow go back in time, and Mixie's a perfect character to do that. Excuse me, and yeah, I'm just excited to see more of him. I'd say if the show gets up to season 7 and 8, which I doubt it will, um, that's when I want to see him. This could possibly be the last episode we ever see him in. Um, my guess is that this show will either end at the end of a full-on season 6, or they'll have a short season 7, like Arrow had a short season 8. Either that, or they'll have a full season 7. I'm not sure. But now that Superman and Lois is starting next year, um, I'm not I'm not very confident that this show will go on for another 3 or 4 seasons. Um, I'm I'm pretty confident in saying that season 7 will probably be the farthest this show could go. For the Flash, I'd say season 9 maybe. Maybe even season 10. You never know. Eric Wallace could just be getting started this season, and could be going into even crazier routes in the later seasons, keeping this show alive until season 10. I'd say that goes until like season 9 or 10. Supergirl will probably go until season 7 or even 6. I don't know. Legends, either season 6, probably just season 6. I can't really see it going on it any further than that. Batwoman, um, I don't know. It has good ratings, but um, I don't know. Batwoman, I can't really see going past season 4, but given the realistically the ratings, it feels like it could go up to season 5 or 6. Then again, when Supergirl started, I didn't think it could get past season 2, but we're here in season 5. The show's much better now. Batwoman could become a really, really good show. I'm not hating on it. I still enjoy the series. I think it's a good series, but it doesn't feel like it could go very far. This Legends and Batwoman really don't seem like they're going to be going on very much longer. And obviously, I'm not even gonna say with Green Arrow and the Canaries and Superman and Lois, because they haven't even started. So I don't know the quality of those shows yet. Oops, sorry. And then that's that's all the shows. The only one I can see going far is Flash, really. But Supergirl has been getting better. Tell me what you thought about this episode in particular. I've been seeing some people thinking that this is the best episode of the season. I still think that episode 10 is better. I really am a fan of that episode. I just really think they did a lot of things in that episode right. And it was just a really fun episode. This was a really fun episode. It was filler, didn't progress the story. I'd say it's probably my least favorite 100th episode so far. I thought Arrows was a really cool tribute to the show. Flash's was a really awesome tribute to the show, and Flash can do really good tributes just because of the time travel. Same with Legends. If Legends ever reaches 100th episode, which will probably be in like seasons 7 or 8, since they have shorter seasons, I'd say Legends could have a really crazy 100th episode. But that is if they get there. I'm not sure if they will. But Supergirl, I thought this was a decent episode. Actually, I thought it was good. I'm probably going to give it like a 9.3, 9.4 in that region. I still think episode 10 is better, and I still think the Crisis episode is better. I'd probably say overall this is probably the third best episode so far. Um, yeah, tell me in the comments what you thought about the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned. I'll be doing my Flash review and my Legends review tomorrow, and Clone Wars Season 6 coming out in the next few days if I finish the season. And then, and yeah, I'll be doing my Arrow and Flash 13th episodes ranked once the Flash gets its 13th episode out. So yeah, got a few weekly videos coming out, and then that mid-season finales ranked video. Like I said, my Batwoman review, I haven't started it yet. My guess is that it'll probably be coming out soon. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, tell me what you thought about the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See ya.